Today's video is establishing home. Another tip you can use to help you deal with anxiety, panic attacks, and depressive episodes that come up in your life. We had talked about before is homeostasis. In our last video, we talked about how the body has such a strong drive to maintain balance or homeostasis. And I think it's kind of funny that my next lesson has to do with home part of homeostasis, and it's establishing home. What do we like about home? Why, when we're having a bad day or we're under a lot of stress, I know for me, I always say, I just want to go home. I've had a lot of dreams where I was lost and couldn't find my way, and I would sit down and I would say, I just want to go home. Why is it that we want to go home, and why is home so important? Well, from my nursing background, we learned about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and home fills in this bottom part. And what Maslow felt through all his research was that in order for a human being to come to their highest level of functioning and healthiest level of functioning, they needed to go through a hierarchy of needs. And the bottom one, which is so important, has to do with home, okay? And we're going to talk about that. Now, what Maslow theory says is that unless you meet the needs on each level, you can't go to the higher levels, okay? So being a healthy, functioning human being can't happen until you meet the bottom levels, okay? So home is where we establish our basic needs. What is it that you love about home? Some famous sayings you may have heard about home is where the heart is. And a lot of people have that plaque in their house. There's no place like home, from The Wizard of Oz. Maya Angelou said, the ache for home lives in all of us, the safe place where we can go as we are and not be questioned. There's an old Christian hymn that says, come home, all who are weary come home. So that's why I encourage you, when you're in a state of panic or anxiety or depression, establish a sense of home. And what happens in this home? In this home, you get fed. That's a basic need on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You get food and water. You get love and acceptance from family. You find comfort. You have a roof over your head, which is shelter. These are all part of the basic needs of a human being. So that's what I always advise my patients and my children and grandchildren. When you're in a panic or an anxiety attack, try to make sure you're meeting your basic needs. Are you eating? Are you drinking? Are you in a safe place? Are you comfortable? Are your basic needs satisfied? And if you can do that, it can help bring that anxiety down, because it's moving you up the hierarchy of needs of a human being. How can you establish a sense of home around you? Now, in my home, I have some things like this is a necklace that my grandmother made. And I really loved my grandmother, and she loved me. So when I wear this, it gives me a sense of home connected to family. This is a sweater my grandmother made. And in the wintertime, a lot of times after a hard day, I'll come home and I'll put this sweater on. And it's comforting, and which means home, okay? And then I always make sure that I'm eating and drinking and and just working at meeting my basic needs. Now, there's times in our lives when we're not able to be at home and have those things that we have that are comfortable for us here. So, how can we establish home when we're not really home? Well, as a nurse, I used to work in a hospital, and boy, the days would get stressful. You'd have a dozen patients to take care of, and meds to give, and so many stressors on you. But I found ways to establish home where I was to help calm down my anxiety. A counselor that I went to see once gave me the wisest advice. She said, "Who is the one person that you know loves you and cares about you?" And I said, "It's my grandma." So she said, "I want you to get a picture of your grandma and carry it with you." So I have this picture of my grandmother. Her name was Dora, and she was the most wonderful human being I know. And so whenever I was having a hard day and things were just getting too stressful, I'd take a minute, go into the break room, pull this picture out, and as my counselor said, I would say to myself, what would Grandma tell me right now? And what Grandma would say to me is, "Cindy, you're working as hard as you can." And she'd say, "You can only do the best you can do." And then that helps me establish home, even in the midst of a very busy, busy day. Some other things that I used to do in my quiet time in the mornings, I would find scriptures that would encourage me and lift me up. And so I would write them on, usually it's smaller cards than these. It's 3x5 cards, so they would fit in my pocket of my nursing uniform. And I would carry them around with me. And as the day got more and more stressful, I would pull out one of those cards. Like when I had a day where I thought, am I really doing everything that I can do? You know, like Grandma said, you can only do the best you can do. Well, this scripture from Micah says, "He has shown you, O man, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? To act justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly before your God." And so I would calm my anxiety down by just rereading this scripture and reminding myself that yes, I'm acting as justly as I possibly can, and I love mercy, and I'm trying to be humble. So that would help me to feel more at home and more comfort as my basic needs are met. Another scripture I liked in the midst of a really stressful day when patients are pulling me right and left and I can't seem to please enough people fast enough. This is from Isaiah. It says, "How beautiful on the mountains are the feet of those who bring good news, who proclaim peace, who bring good tidings, who proclaim salvation, who say to Zion, your God reigns." And so I knew this was my calling on my life. And as I entered into each patient's room, I would pray that I would bring peace to them where there was no peace, and that I would proclaim good tidings that you're going to get better, it's going to be okay. And so once again, keeping this in my pocket helped me to establish home wherever I went. I wanted to just tell you about an incident where I used these steps of establishing home. And one was, I was a home health nurse working out, visiting patients in my car. And in Nebraska, you know how unpredictable the weather is. Started my day out with perfect weather, and then by midday, I was in a blizzard, and there was snow all over the place, and I ended up at one of the major intersections in our town, and I got stuck in a turning lane and couldn't get out. On my right, so I was wanting to turn left, and over on my right, there was a semi-truck coming to this major intersection. As he got in the snow, in the sleet, and the terrible icy weather, he came trying to turn in front of me, and that truck started sliding toward me. Boy, I tell you, my anxiety started going up right about then. And he just missed me. And I was so anxious, I thought, I cannot go on with this day. So what I did is I stopped and I thought of how can I establish home in the midst of a blizzard, in the midst of a stressful day? Well, this is what I did. I had a friend that lived nearby. I called him up and said, can I come hang out at your house during this blizzard? And he invited me in. And I curled up on the couch. He covered me up with a blanket. He got me some food and some hot tea, which that's my favorite, is hot tea. And I just sat there and I established home in order to calm my anxiety before I tried to go ahead and get myself home. Back home, I mean. So what was I doing in those steps? I was providing for my safety. I was provided food. I was provided drink. I was provided comfort. And that's what home is all about. And that's what home should be to you. And these are ways that you can establish home wherever you are during an anxiety attack, a panic attack, or a depressive episode. Think of the things that meet your basic needs. Think of things that make you feel comfortable. Think of things that make you feel at home. And then this is just a little bonus here, is that I feel like family is meant to be our heaven on earth, which is home. Okay, our eternal destiny is home, or is heaven. That's where we're going to go. But for right now, family is meant to be our safe place, our place where our needs are met. Your family hopefully makes you feel valued. Your family hopefully makes you feel safe. Your family can help you fight your anxiety battles. I remember my daughter and my granddaughters calling me up and saying, okay, I'm having a panic attack. Help me with this. So we would go back through the steps of, let's go back and meet your basic needs. Are you safe? Do you have food? Do you have drink? Let's do that first. If you don't have this type of family, I would just pray and ask for God to bring people into your life, because anybody can become family. You know, your friends can become family. They can be that comfortable, safe place that provides a sense of home for you. Okay? And then lastly, I just like to remind people that we should be that type of person, that type of family member that makes others feel valued and cared for and safe. And that should be our goal in life. So the next time you have an anxiety attack or a panic attack, remember this little house and try to establish home wherever you are. Try to meet your basic needs: food, water, shelter, safety, comfort, and love. In future lessons, we'll talk more about getting in deeper to the real roots of anxiety and the puzzle pieces. But for now, for these first couple of videos, I wanted to make sure you had practical things that you could use in the case of anxiety and panic. And I hope this helps you. If you enjoy these videos, if they're helping you, that's an answer to prayer. But we'd like you to subscribe down below so that you can be connected up with future videos. And then up above, we have videos of previous recordings that we've done to help you and to manage anxiety, panic, and depression. Thank you.